Valtteri Bottas's future could be headed to Cadillac, as the reports from trustworthy media have already shared the contractual obligations that both sides have agreed to. The Finn, a 10-time race winner, is expected to be announced as a driver of the American squad in the next couple of days. But when one door closes, another one opens. What does this mean for the second seat of Cadillac? And will they go with two highly experienced drivers, or go with a youngster that would learn from Valtteri the same way that Kimi learns from him in Mercedes right now? There is no doubt that Bottas's future is in F1 as a full-time driver, as confirmed by Wolff. And this saga has just received a new breeze of news. According to Racing News 365, Bottas is already a member of Cadillac, and we need to wait for the finer details to become available to the media. Of course, we knew that he was on top of the priority list for Cadillac, but we also knew that there was a competition between him and Perez. That is also a subject that could change sooner rather than later, because Cadillac might focus on having two experienced drivers, at least in the first couple of years of their existence, something we'll go through in this video. The signing of Bottas, although yet to be confirmed by official sources of the team and the Finnish driver, would be a massive boost towards Cadillac's campaign of fighting at the front. If you think about it, there couldn't be a better veteran to sign as the backbone of their F1 debut. 5 years of competing on the best team on the grid at that time, Mercedes, 10 race wins, never missing Q3. And on top of that, he has 3 years of driving Ferrari-powered engines with Sauber. The fact that he returned to the Mercedes family as a reserve driver and mentor for Kimi goes to show how important of an asset Bottas is, which is probably why Cadillac steered in that direction instead of the Perez one. But let's hold our horses here. They haven't given up on Checo just yet. The team just wanted to secure that Bottas would be their signed driver as we speak. The experience of Bottas and the fact that he's been on top of the sport for a much longer period than Perez is probably what decided the Cadillac's move. And although nothing is to be made official, we know for a fact that Bottas's priority was to join F1 as a full-time driver in 2026 with Cadillac. We've seen that from the video posted on X, and we've also heard from the commentary during the Grand Prix, or more precisely the lack of it when he was asked by Nico Rosberg. So what are Cadillac's plans for Bottas? He needs to adapt to their machinery as soon as possible. And according to sources close to the team, they are preparing a TPC test for the Finn in an old Ferrari. Considering the fact the American squad is using the Ferrari engines, they do have the right to use their cars for TPC testing. Of course, the goal is to compete with their own American-made power units, but that will only happen from 2029 onwards. There is a very interesting question that needs to be answered from Bottas's side as well. What is he going to do with the role he currently has in Mercedes? Despite many wanting to diminish what he currently does in Mercedes, that's not really the case. Even if Bottas signs a contract with Cadillac right now to be their full-time driver for 2026, he will still have to finish his roles in Mercedes until the end of this year. This would make things a bit more complicated for Cadillac because while they can use the Finn services for TPC testing, they cannot use him for the development of the car in the simulator. And this is where a good question opens up. What is going to happen with that second seat? If Cadillac has already committed to Bottas, then they are going to need a strong second driver, preferably an experienced one to develop the car on a strong aerodynamic basis in the simulator. If that driver were to be Sergio Perez, then there wouldn't be any issues with where they would end up in 2026. We can talk whatever we want about Checo, but the fact that he's a very strong driver who's had experience with a bunch of teams on the grid speaks for itself. Just because he wasn't able to adapt to the Red Bull cars doesn't mean he is a bad driver. We've seen what happened when Lawson and Tsunoda stepped in the RB21 as well. And that was one of the primary reasons why Mario Andretti, the current director of Cadillac, had a lot of trust that Perez will be a viable option for his team. However, that was before the events with Bottas had developed to the stage they are right now. So, will Bottas have Perez as his teammate, or will he see a rookie sit next to him? Let's not forget a very important thing about Sergio Perez here. He comes with massive financial support behind his back. It is believed that the companies that support his career are ready to cash in $30 million on the bank account of the team that would sign Perez. And if you are a team that is just entering Formula One, a highly elite sport with so many lucrative costs around it, then how do you turn a blind eye to this amount of money? Plus, it's not like they're going to bring in Lance Stroll. We've seen that there have been great flashes of Perez as an F1 driver in Red Bull. The development of the car just moved in a wrong direction in Red Bull and he wasn't able to keep up the step with Verstappen. That is a problem that happened to Lawson and Tsunoda as well. And if we look at things from this perspective, I do believe that the priority of Cadillac right now is to find a perfect driver for developing the car in the simulator. Cadillac needs to think from a wider perspective. This is where Mick Schumacher could fit very well considering his massive simulator experience with Mercedes, but the plans of Cadillac are different for the German driver. There have been reports that Mick's been signed for the WEC Championship for the American team, and that also includes a reserve driver F1 role as well. So, this leaves us to think about what the other possibilities are for the second seat. The philosophy of Cadillac is still believed to be the same: a young driver paired up with Bottas that would be able to absorb all of the knowledge and push the team to great lengths. But on the other hand, the candidates are not really promising if you put out the fact that Perez is available too. F2 competitors like Jack Crawford and Alex Dunn are on their top list, as well as Felipe Dragovich. The difference between these three is that Dragovich has been a reserve F1 driver for a longer period of time, and he is also an F2 champion. And these drivers, although